I've got a bit of residual voice issue, but I'm not caring too much as long as you don't. I'm making this video for my child, and I want to say right out of the gate, my child does not identify as she, daughter, female. I'm going to do my best because we don't communicate to not use incorrect pronouns, but I can guarantee I'm going to screw it up. I'll do my best, but I think they will understand. What I'm recording this video for is an admission of parental major failure. Yep. Her dad and I, we screwed the pooch. We screwed up big time. Her dad and I screwed up in raising her. We did it wrong. Guess what? Every single one of us does that. We come in as two partners, we merge, and we take this beliefs and these beliefs and we squeeze them together, and all the icky stuff falls out that neither one of us believe in. And then we take the best that we can agree upon and try and move that forward. So we agreed upon there was no church, because I had never been exposed to church my entire life. My mom was married 5 times. We had a Bible. We never did church. We didn't do it. And my ex, his parents did a lot of research. His grandpa was like a minister or something. There was a lot of religion, but my ex, literally, I've never known anybody that believes to this extent that he is his body completely. He is this mass. And when this body is done, whoop, goes to the floor, there lies the mass, there lies the essence, there lies the entire being, everything that was. That's what he believes. I don't know how he believes that, because I don't know about you, but if you've gone outside at night and you've looked up at the stars and you can't even wrap your brain around the magnificence, yeah, there's a little bit more. You got to know there's so much more to this, which if you're walking in the shoes that I'm walking in now, you know there's so much more to this. So I didn't know, Hannah, I didn't know that God was real. I didn't know. I didn't know until December of last year, when I first had my first conversation with God, that there was such a thing as God. I've always known, and all of my friends have always known. I use the word the universe. I speak to the universe, source, higher power. Just the word God did not hit me until my experiences over the last year. It's been a year. December 21st last year, 1221-2021. I received a transmission. I was thrown to the ground, and that was the first start. Yesterday, I received a transmission. I was thrown to the ground. Same exact thing happened. It's just, it's impossible to explain, but all I want to do is I want to make this video because my child was raised not knowing that there is God. And it wouldn't matter if we had Bibles or books, or if we went to church. Throughout my life, I've known so many people who've gone to church, and these people are lost. These people don't live with God. People who can't believe they're eternal. They can't believe the stuff they learn in church. It's just, it boggles my mind how over the last year, without ever reading the Bible, which I have one now, thanks to my neighbor in Washington, Stephanie. And I will read this. I do not know how people read this, but she gave me a study Bible, something for me to use. And she gave me another Bible previously, and I'm going to give that one to my child when I see them, if I ever see them. And I remember when I mentioned that the other day to my ex, I said, I'm going to give her a Bible. He's like, pleaded with me, God, don't send her a Bible. And I'm like, she can go to any motel room and open a nightstand drawer. I'm not sending her a gun. I'm sending her a Bible. And what I do know about this Bible, what I do know about this is everything that has been coming through me over the last 12 months now. It was December of last year this all started. I cannot even believe this. I'm making this video a year after. All right, I'm going to get emotional, so I'm not going to care. So last December, I received a transmission. I was thrown to the ground. And then I'm going to name names, Maria Elena Mexia and Dan Erickson. They were on my God squad to get me connected to God, and they didn't know it. We couldn't have known any of it. When I recorded a bunch of videos with Dan Erickson, and towards the end of them, it's like, It was so powerful, the stuff he recorded. One of the very last lines he says is, you realize when you're walking with God that you are walking with your best friend. And when you said those words, when he recorded those words during our video, when he recorded those, oh, it hit me. But it didn't hit me until I was editing that video. And this was a couple months later. I'm at the cabin in Yachats and I'm chatting back and forth with my friend Maria Elena Mexia. And I don't even know if I asked the question, but she sent me an audio message. And in the message, she said, "Who is God?" And she said, as I'm editing the Dan video, Maria Elena said, "Who is God?" And I'm listening, says, "He's my best friend." At that moment, it was as if the room illuminated. And I felt God. I felt God wrapped around me. And I saw all of the times when God has been wrapped around me and keeping me safe and keeping me alive and keeping me going to get me to this space. We were raised with no religion, but I was not raised without God. He has saved me throughout my entire life. And since those moments where I connected to God, I'm going to cry, I don't care, through Maria Lane and Dan, since those moments, and I moved here on St. Patrick's Day to Newport, and I was called frequently to get down to the beach because that's all I want to do is get to the beach. And there was a day, there was a woman who was, as she read through, she proofread my book, and she had a lot of questions. She had a ton of questions, and I didn't have the answers. And I went down to the beach, and I always have my phone ready to record. And this day, it was raining. It was, I don't know, 9 months ago. It was raining. It was icky, but I just told, put on your rain pants and go to the ocean. I went down there and I was told, get closer to the water. And so I kept walking. As I got near the water's edge, it was like the sky parted. The water, everything right ahead of me was crystal clear and beautiful and blue and magical as all get out. And then God told me to open my phone, and he dictated an entire chapter to my book. And he was answering all the questions the woman who proofread my book had. She had all these questions about, like, who do you think you are? Why do you think, it makes me sound like I'm a very arrogant person. Like, look at me. And God answered the questions. He did an entire chapter. And I just remember feeling numb. Like, I could not have begun to go there. I could not have had these answers. It's impossible for me to have these answers. But he had them, and he put everything in such beautiful perspective. And it was like, there's the answers. This book has to happen. And I don't care if people see or think of it as me coming from ego. They can think all they want. Anybody who knows me knows I can't go there. But that was when I knew I was really connected to God. I've never used the word God because I couldn't. Because it wasn't real. It didn't exist. It was a wish. It was a dream. It was a pipe dream. But now that I've walked the walk that I've walked, and I've been brought to the place where I've been brought, and I've never read the Bible, but everything that I've needed to know comes through me without the spinned translation of going to church. It's like I get to know everything I want to know in a language that makes complete sense to me. And there's no questions whatsoever that I've been walking with God my entire life. God has lifted me and elevated me and brought me on this path to keep following this journey at any cost, which is the cost of losing my family, my friends, every single human I've ever been connected to. People previous to me moving to Newport have been completely removed from my life. I've had to completely unplug because that's how this works. We are here on our very specific, individualized journey. Mine is for me and nobody else. But all of us, and this is why I think this video is so important, we get so wrapped up in the human story and what everybody else expects us to do, and we become victims. We sign up for all these people to run our lives for us. We hand over the keys to our life to all these people. I haven't done that. I've completely surrendered, and so that's why God made his way to me. I had no experience with religion, so I had no preconceived notions. Anything he had to erase or say, we got to scrub that, it's a bad memory, she won't be able to accept me because she has that thought. I had no preconceived notions about God because I had no God, I had no religion. I just was moving forward, following whatever this thing was that has been pulling me along. And it took me many decades to get to the point to where just by following my higher guidance, myself, my higher self, who's the only one that can possibly know what we are supposed to be doing, but we give up our power to everybody else. Every single one of you has given your power to everybody else. And that's what I stopped doing. I surrendered and I said, okay, my life is not working. I'm following, I'm doing what you told me to do, but I'm not finding what I'm supposed to find. And I just surrendered. I surrendered and I said, show me. And I've met God. And now I have a child who's 23, who's struggling, who is, I just found out the other day, it's like, God, this is so easy and people make this so complicated. My ex told me that our kid was told, she's been given the belief, and anybody who knows me or knows how law of attraction works knows exactly where this is going. She has the belief that her working toward a job in film in Southern California can take a long time. So everybody that knows me, you're already rolling your eyes, because if you believe it's going to take a long time, you might as well get a recliner and a TV set because you ain't going nowhere. A belief is a thought you continue to think. And that's like the simplest thing ever. But my kid, and my ex doesn't help with this. He helps her sit back and massage her contacts because it takes a long time while she's not employed and trying to figure out how to do her life. When I know you can do anything, you can create anything. We create our own reality. And as long as she believes it's going to take a long time, it's going to take a long time. So where do I go from here? I have a child in Los Angeles who we are estranged because I got too woo-woo and too weird for everybody. And I'm okay with that because people who need to find me are finding me. But how do you tell somebody that you raised that we were wrong, that God is real, and your dad's a science guy, he's never going to agree to this? I guess all I can do is make this video and put it out there and make sure they know that God is a thing. No, God isn't a thing. God is the thing. And the word God, I don't want you to see this robed. God is energy. We are all energy. We are all sparks of God. We are all light. That is all we are. We manifest as humans. We create this mass to call our shell, and we forget all about the other side when we're born here intentionally, because if we remembered what would be the point, we forget. And then we come here and we flail and we have these miserable stories and these miserable existences where horrible things happen to us. And we cry, if there was a God, he would do this. No, you chose these stories. We all set up our own stories to live through. God is all that is, and we are part of all that is. We are all sparks from the same star, but each single one of us, little individual units here walking around this planet on planet Earth, each one of us are a teeny little speck, a spark of God, and we are a light, and we all are encompassed. We're all interconnected. We're all drops in the same ocean. This is all manifested. This is not reality. The reality is the other side of the veil, where we are home, where we are all one. We could close our eyes right now, all go to sleep, and we are on the other side. When we're sleeping, we're all hanging out, high-fiving each other on, oh my God, you got through that thing. But then we wake up and we're back to earth. When we're sleeping, we're connecting. We're making these big plans. There's so much more than ever could fit inside this human body that is us. This body would explode. It would like be fragments splattered all over the planet if I tried to cram all of me in here. But since I'm at this space now to where I only became open, I surrendered, I only follow guidance. The only thing I hear is my higher self communicating and showing me where to go. I don't need guidance anymore. I just do what I'm supposed to do, like making a video right now about God is real. And I was wrong as a parent to tell my child. I never told my child there wasn't a God. I just didn't know. I didn't know. And now I do know. And the life that I've manifested by knowing this and by agreeing to completely surrender and just send love and light and be love and light. I just want to share this feeling with my child, because life can be so easy all the time, all the time. And we complicate it by refusing to believe that this can be. And I want to reach out to my child and say, 2 hours. Think this way for 2 hours and see what happens. How about 24 hours? How about 2 weeks? If anybody listening to this video would just say, okay, I surrender, I defer to God, show me. And then you actually shut up and you put your phone away and you actually listened, you will be shown everything you need to see about where that next step is you need to take. The problem is, we're not looking for the next step. You're looking for the next 10 steps. You're looking for where you want to be, not where does the next step take you. This life is about one foot in front of the other. By putting one foot and living that space, and then one more, you're being taken down the path you need to be taken down. You're being placed on your path. You could find your breadcrumbs and you could start finding your journey. But once you start getting into, this can't be real, I've got to go human, I got to go make things happen again, you lose all sight of it. I was raised growing up in Henderson, Nevada, which we had the Mormon church, which was huge in Henderson. And it actually was our something to do on some Saturday nights. They had Mormon dances, and many of my friends were Mormon. There was a Catholic church. There were many churches in Henderson. And most of my friends, I think probably all my friends, attended one church or another. It was something we didn't do. But what I do realize, so many of the people I've got to know over the course of my life, adults who are very religious, they go to church and they are religious. And what I do know is what is taught in church, because I do know God now, is God you're taught in church. And I don't know what church, I don't know how they teach because I don't go to church, but the Bible says, if you read the Bible, it says you're eternal. How come I'm the only one that lives that way? I've never gone to church and I can live now knowing that I'm an eternal being. I have no fear. I have no fear because when this body dies, it's like walking into another room. It's not like I'm like, croak, hit the wall, ouch, big buoy. No, it's not like that. Life is fluid. None of this is real. Death is like walking into the other room and you just walk right back to all the soul group that you left behind when you crossed over to go through the birth canal to become a human. We come here to forget, and we do. And we get down in the muck and the dirt and the trenches, and we deal with crap we are We are the murderer. We are murdered. We come here to do all of it. We come here to play in the clay and then go back home and say, wow, that felt so weird to do this and to be on that side of the coin. That's why we come here. But God is real. And so if my child ever sees this, you have all of your friends who've gone to church. They taught God. Talk to them about God. Do not go to church. I'm highly recommending you do not start going to church, because then you're getting a translation of something that isn't always going to sit well. And you're going to have all the fears instilled that many religions do. They want you to be fearful. Again, I'm just hearing this through people who've gone to church, people who said they're recovering Catholics, they're recovering Mormons. I don't know. All I know is I never went to church. I had no God in my life. And now I walk with God. And when I first started saying those words and people looked at me like, especially my ex, like, you're using that word? Yeah, I am. I am. All of the gut pulls I've had over my life that have saved my life or taken me to something so much better. And I just followed the instinct that my gut told me to do, because I knew if I didn't, it wouldn't feel right. With all of those gut pulls, they took me on the path. Three times. I was done. I had the pills. I was jumping. I mean, I was suicidal, completely depressed. But there was this voice inside of me that kept saying, you got this, you got this. And it turned out, when I started listening to the only voice that ever made sense, when I shut everything else down and I went away from humans and I came here all by myself and I isolated, and then I heard me talking, it was like my higher self did all the connection. It was like, why do we listen to everything else going on outside of us? There's so much garbage in the world, and we all subscribe to it. We get our phones, which keep us linked to every news story that you want to be connected to constantly, and it makes you sick. It makes you angry. Why do you want this kind of connection? Why do you want to know what's going on in countries right now when you have your world to deal with and your issues you need to deal with? Why do you allow your phone to take you places that are just sending you down a spiral? You're choosing this. You're choosing hell, people. Put your phones away. Get to nature. Shut everything up and listen to you. This is the part I'm going to wring your little necks. All of you very brilliant humans out there, you're focused on TV, what they're telling you. You're focused on your phone. You're listening to what everybody tells you. And rather than, and so you compile like the best and you take this as the consensus, rather than shutting it all off and going inside, just silently, you get all of the answers. You get everything come through you, but you've got to open yourself up. You have to open the bandwidth to receive it, but you can't do that because you're so busy humaning and focusing on the stories going on everywhere around you that you've got to have your fingers plugged into. You are so plugged in to so many stories and so many people and so many things going on. You have nothing left for you. Nothing. One thing Carolyn Mace talks about in her books, and oh my God, I highly recommend any of her stuff. This was the best visual for me when I was coming towards the ends of my journey, is, I don't know, like optic nerves, like visualize coming out the top of your head, like 100 fiber optic cables. Just visualize this and then think, what am I plugging these 100 things into? For a big part of my life, it was everyone and everything, everywhere, everything. That's all we do. We plug in. It's like, I got this, got the kid, got the job, got the car payment, got the medical, all the stuff we have to do. And through my journey and unplugging from every single person I've ever been plugged into and my family, and plugging in, just literally unplugging all circuits that were outside of myself, it's as if it like retracted the vacuum cord. Oh, and it was like, it opened the bandwidth. It was like suddenly I was sponge worthy. I was a sponge. Thanks, Elaine. I was a sponge and I was able to receive. And when you're able to receive, when you get to this space, it's beyond your wildest dreams. I live in the fifth dimension. I saw a video about that recently that made so much sense to me. It was like family home movies. I went through 3D. My last years have been my 4D soup, just getting through. I had to go through all the crap. You have to go through all of the crap. You have to get rid of the crap. You got to, you will want it. If you go through this journey and if you really, truly want to get connected to God, go inside and do what you're told, meaning get rid of all that stuff that you're putting in storage. You really don't want to put it in storage. You want to get rid of it. Let's get rid of stuff. Let's get back to the basics of life and we can get back to living again. We've become overconsumed. It's too much. I know I'm talking to my dear friends, Maria Elena Mexia. She's a quantum shaman in Quito, Ecuador. And it's like, how do we possibly have people hear us when they are so deeply enmeshed in information because they have it at their fingertips? But I think there's enough people that feel pretty shitty and pretty crappy by the life they're living that maybe they'll think, maybe if I step away from this and start focusing more on how I feel, maybe I'll change my life. And if you focus on how you feel, and if you don't have it to do with anybody else, if it's you and you alone, because you are here on your journey, everyone has a very individual journey, but we try to do them for everybody else. We try and do them as partners, like, okay, I'll hitch my start of your wagon. Let's go do this journey. Well, one of you has to go the other way. If you're all following your journey, you're going to have your own path. It doesn't mean you have to divorce. You just have to be willing to do what it takes to find your path. And once you get on it, you will know it. And everyone and everything that is supposed to be aligned with you at that time shows up. And it's so much more than you could have ever imagined. This is the part that right now, doing my work, the people that I'm meeting, that I'm shining lights for and helping them see what their gift is. It's like one of the dangers of this journey is people tend to look at me as their answer. And if I was everybody's answer, there'd have to be a whole lot of me because I can't divide myself like that. I am one human that is here to touch life, but I can't marry. I can't be everything to everybody. All I could do is shine a light on you for you to see it. And you need to be willing to step back from me more than anything, step back from everyone and say, I'm going to do this work. I'm going to go in here, shut this thing off, go in here and go here and say, now what, God? I could not have made this video because that word did not enter my world until 12/21 when I received a crazy transmission. And I received another transmission yesterday. That's why I'm kind of a little emotional too. The transmission I received a year ago, it was just, I was woken up with an extreme fever, just dripping. I was a puddle and I know I was out of my body. My ex-husband was there looking like, what do I do? He was so lost. And it was about maybe 20 minutes max. Then I threw up. My fever broke. It was like 20 minutes, super high fever. And then I threw up, my fever broke, and I went back to bed. And that started all of this. And then yesterday, I was laying on the couch and I was feeling lightheaded. And I got up because I needed a drink. And as soon as I stood up, I realized I couldn't. My world was completely spinning. So I fell back to the couch and my fever skyrocketed. My house was warm. I literally stripped down to nothing, laying on my couch, like pouring. I had so much water pouring off of my head. And then it was over. And then the fever broke and I had the chills. And I felt huge shifting sands. I feel so much change coming on. And I don't know what that means. I'm just getting ready for it. I literally feel shifting sands under my feet. And I'm so ready for wherever God takes me. Whatever my work is to be doing here, I am so ready. I'm taking off. I'm going to go on a couple of ski trips just to get through December. And I'm taking this laptop and my first book is going to be done. So my first book is done. My second book's done. I just want to get the first one out first. So much is changing. But I know I fearlessly have decided that I will speak for God, and I don't care what people think. Oh, there's so many people coming at me like, "You're a false prophet, you're that." It's like, I don't care what anybody believes. I'm just saying what God wants, and how anybody reacts, it's a reflection of where you are. It has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with me. I am a messenger, and I'm messaging, and that's what this is. And then my book's gonna get out, and then I'm ready to take again, I can only put one foot in front of the other. So, for my kid, this is for you. I know you don't believe in God, even though you have all your friends do. You might want to talk to them about it. Your dad will never be the person to talk to, even though he started getting a little interested about Florence Shin's book, The Game of Life and How to Play It. That's a first. You've got that book. Please read it. It's real. That book, if you follow those little nuggets in there, Hannah, your life will change forever. Forever. Because it's that simple. You got to change your beliefs. You can't believe that you're limited. You're not limited. You're not limited. Why would your mother tell you that and say, don't be full? No, you're not limited, Hannah. You can be or do anything. You're the only thing stopping you. Whoa. Okay. Well, this is a crying video, and God is real. God is the thing. The thing. Thank you, God.